interview.
Do a little louder.
Ashlyn, interview.
There you go. Awesome. I got
You
it.
got that one?
Yeah.
Vertical one. Everyone's recording?
Yep. Camera is rolling. Audio is rolling.
So good morning, Ashlyn. Welcome to the making of Homecoming 2022 interviews. Well, first, I guess I already introduced you, but please introduce yourself, first and last name, and your former homecoming title.
So my name's Ashlyn O'Neill, and I was the 2022 director of the Homecoming Court.
Alrighty. So it's been about 4 months since we last were together. So how has school been? How has life been? How are you doing?
It's been different. Homecoming was a part of my life for so long, and I was so involved being on the court team that not doing that for the past couple of months has definitely been a transition, but I've been adjusting, getting acclimated to my spring classes, and it's been great just being back at Virginia Tech after the winter break.
So I want to jump back to fall of 2021, where you decided to join or apply for the homecoming board. Tell me about that decision and what made you apply specifically for director of court.
I'm a person that applies to everything they see. That's why I was always over-involved in high school. That's why I started out a little over-involved in college. Gobblerfest, which is our activities fair, I had a field day at. I would run around, sign up for absolutely everything. And I actually saw Homecoming Board on social media. The marketing team was doing a great job that year. And I was involved with Homecoming at high school. So I thought it would really be interesting to kind of get involved at the collegiate level. And I wasn't sure exactly what to expect. Figured I'd throw my hat in the ring anyways. I actually only applied to all the assistant director positions. However, based on my previous experience within my high school homecoming board, the directors at the time decided to offer me the position, director of court. I was interested in assistant director of court because I was just super interested in the process and how unique Virginia Tech's court system is. How you have to apply, run on a platform, and then be selected, rather than just being a popularity contest of some kind. So that really piqued my interest. And based on that, I thought it'd be a new, exciting thing to try in college. College is about trying new things. So that's honestly the main reason why I decided to go for court instead of another position. So when I was ultimately offered the director position, I thought this is a great opportunity, refine my leadership skills, and just be able to make my mark on Virginia Tech even so early on, being a first-year student.
Yeah. So with your director of court role, what was your day-to-day, your week-to-week? What exactly were you doing?
Well, lots of emails, I will tell you that. A lot of communicating. Even though I am a civil engineering major, I am minoring in strategic communications, which did really serve me well during this role. I needed to be able to talk to anybody and everybody at any given time, and we had an amazing 15 court candidates during my tenure. So kind of coordinating between all of them could be a struggle at times, but most of my days responded to texts, responded to emails, had a couple meetings. I had weekly one-on-ones with our advisor, and then we had weekly assistant director meetings as well. And then of course we had our weekly homecoming roundtables as well. So between all that, it was just a lot of managing my time well and just figuring out how to communicate and how to get everybody the answers they need.
So the biggest shock, at least for me, and I don't know about everyone else on the board, is you were a first-year student taking on that role. And I know you described, the process of being a first-year student and going to, the Gobbler Fest on the drill field. But what was it like taking on such a significant role for the university, for homecoming board? And how did you navigate that with all the other stuff that happens your first year, your first semester, your first year? So tell me about that.
I was really overwhelmed at first. And I still was, even throughout the entire process. How could I not be? Court is such a huge role to take on for anybody, not even just a first-year student. So coming in, I was just kind of worried about if I'd have the support I'd need, if I'd have the people around me. Thankfully, I did. I had a great team. The assistant director was absolutely amazing. Could not have done it without her. And just having them lift me up at all times really helped me feel more confident in myself, and therefore helped me feel more confident with the court candidates, since The court candidates in the spring semester of my tenure were juniors, and then in the fall of 2022, they were seniors. And here I was, a freshman, first-year student, trying to stand up in front of them and command the room. In the spring, I struggled with that a little bit, but in the fall, I really feel like I found my own, thanks to that circle of people, both on the board and just my friends, who really helped me throughout absolutely everything. And I have a really supportive boyfriend that I'd love to shout out. Couldn't have done it without him. He was just talking to me late at night saying, "You got this, you got this." I'm a person who loves words of encouragement, and I really, really had that. And I felt the support, which is why I was able to succeed.
That's awesome. So tell me about the process of becoming a court candidate. What does a student have to do, and what does the organization have to do?
So Virginia Tech's a little bit different, which I love compared to other schools. So students have to run with an organization, and the organization has to be able to, at this current time, the organization has to be able to financially support their candidate up to $500. So the organization kind of puts up somebody to come to these information sessions. Information sessions are informal, no commitment. You just come if you want some more information on the court, kind of to just feel it out, see if it's for you. The person coming from that organization who is deciding to send a candidate, it can either be the person who wants to apply, or if they're unsure, it can just be a member of the exec board of that organization. However, then that person gets the application from Gobbler Connect, and there's a written portion with some essays. After they do that, we go through those Gobbler Connect applications, and then we decide who we'd like to invite to interviews. Interviews are all held in one day. It's a pretty long day. However, it gives us a lot of clarity when trying to select a court candidate, so we're not hearing from them on several different days. We hear everybody during one day, which helps us better decide who is best fit for the court process. So obviously we have an interview. We ask them some questions. Why do you want to be on court? Why does this interest you? That kind of basic thing. But then we also ask them little snippets about their personality. I believe we had a funny question this year. What is your favorite waffle flavor? So a little fun in there too. We want them to be relaxed. We don't want them to be thinking it's a job interview. It's a chance to represent Virginia Tech on homecoming court and their organization. But our whole goal with the interview process is to just get to know them better. So interviews are held, and then we deliberate that day so we don't forget anything that's said. And we just decide who's best fit. And the number varies from year to year. Like I said, this past year, I selected 15. The year before that, I believe they had 12. It's varied between 10 and 15 in recent years. So it depends on the number of applicants and the quality of applicants as well. And after we decide who's going to be on court, then we announce it to the world, and then we get started.
So you, as director, you have a lot of support from board and from outside resources or people. But tell me about Molly and how she was a real support system and basically like your partner in crime throughout the homecoming process.
Yes, we were closer than any other director-assistant duo. I mean, the PR marketing team almost had us beat, but me and Molly really just bonded through the entire homecoming process. And I wouldn't even call us assistant and director. We really worked as co-directors. I had my responsibilities, she had hers. I really trusted her with absolutely anything we needed. And we both ran the meetings. We were both at every single event. We were both very vocal during our interview process. And without her, I couldn't have done what I did, especially being a first-year student. Molly came in as a junior, then senior in the fall. And having her there for me was just so impactful. I can't even describe it. That girl, we so bonded, and we still talk to this day. I am proud to call her a good friend of mine now, and she's just super sweet, super motivated, and always put a smile on my face. When I was feeling down about something, she'd say, "Hey, look on the bright side." So we worked really, really well together too.
That's great. Okay, we are rolling.
Welcome back. Since we have a cohort of 15 court candidates, our programming and cinematography teams wanted to ensure that every candidate got to share a piece of themselves with this production.
Since February of 2022, our team has been working tirelessly to put this vision together. From the developmental stage until now,
With everyone's hard work,
here is
Homecoming Court 72 Questions, Part 2.
Awesome.
I looked right at the
Is that
camera.
better?
So now I kind of want to discuss the diversity of the homecoming court. So what is the push for that diversity on campus, whether that's organization, identity, and how can that be improved for the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So coming into this role, one of my main goals was to kind of sway homecoming court away from the stigma that you must be in Greek life. I am involved in Greek life myself. This is no hate towards anybody in Greek life. However, homecoming court is supposed to represent Virginia Tech as a whole. And we want everyone to be able to be represented. We just haven't had as many people in the past come out to interviews, to our info sessions from other organizations, other identities, that type of thing. So anyone under any identity can run under homecoming court. You don't have to identify as this or that. We want everybody and anybody who wants to be a part of this. And I really made that push to kind of reach out to other organizations during my tenure. We even had 2 great candidates from the United Feminist Movement and the Model United Nations. And both of them were fantastic. They're from organizations that have never been on homecoming court before, besides last year. And they needed a little more support than most because they were new. The organization hadn't helped them before. But with me and Molly being there and being able to help them, I really feel like they both had super successful campaigns. And I'd love to just see even more of that. I want more people to come into homecoming court because they want to represent Virginia Tech, because they're proud of their organization and they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And that whole push is kind of just going to happen over time. As I mentioned, we made strides this past year, but there's a lot of work left to be done. And I just hope to see that continue. I know the incoming team is really, really focused on that as well. After talking to the 2023 director, she kind of has the same goals and visions that I do. So I'm super excited to see about the direction this goes. And I just hope to come back in 10 years and to see even more diversity than where I started. I just wanted to do all that and leave a positive legacy, make sure homecoming courts where people can come and be safe and not feel like it's an exclusive thing.
I love that intention. And speaking of intention, something that the Homecoming Board produced for Homecoming 22 was the Homecoming Court 72 Questions, the first original film from the Homecoming Board. So how do you feel like that production as a whole or holistically benefited the court candidates and maybe could have harmed them in some way?
Overall, I feel like that production really, really helped them. After seeing, they sent me little pictures, all the court candidates did, of their little watch parties, having their friends over to watch them. Overall, it was a great production. I feel like everyone had so much fun making it. I know I loved getting to see all the different court candidates' personalities, and I really feel like it helped make them more personable because too often people see the court candidates out on campus and they think, not great things, that they're just shallow, they're doing this for the popularity, they're doing this just because they feel like it or they just want to be noticed. But the Homecoming Court 72 Questions, first of all, everyone loved that it was modeled after Vogue's 73 Questions. And getting to hear the sides of the candidates besides, oh, vote for me, my platform's so-and-so, it was really great to see a little more about them. I feel like a lot of them did a great job when they were talking to the cameras. However, some may have, talked a little too much, but honestly, it's a production. It was taken in one take, just like the normal Vogue 73 Questions. But I just feel like overall, it really helped them. And they loved making it. And that was our goal, just to have them have fun and make something great of it.
So after homecoming settled, after October, after the game, after everything that transpired during homecoming week, what was your favorite memory of the whole thing?
My favorite memory of homecoming week has to be the game. It was so fun. We had all of our court candidates and their guests sit in one little section, so we were all together for the first half. And then me, Molly, and our amazing advisor, Katie, got to help walk them down to the field, and we really got to watch them go on, direct them, and it was just so great to see. I can't even explain it. The game was when it all came to fruition. It was magical almost, if I could say that. It was just surreal that all this hard work, my hard work, Molly's hard work, everyone's hard work, finally came to a finish at the homecoming game when we got our 3 royalty winners. And I was so happy for all of them. They all had great platforms and they all were great people. Everyone on court was a great person. So I was just so happy to see everyone's excitement, and it was super cool to get to walk on the field, that too. We got a pretty cool picture, and just getting to celebrate with everybody was another great experience.
Yeah. So also looking at your favorite memory, what was your least favorite part about the planning of homecoming or just homecoming week in general?
Well, we did have a little snafu with the tickets. It was a little difficult to manage all that and get that kind of coordinated. However, our amazing team actually figured it out just in time so all the core candidates could have the guests they needed, and all of homecoming board got to attend the game as well. But trying to figure that out so close to day of was a little bit nerve-wracking, but like I said, our team, super chill. We got it all figured out, but it was stressful at the time.
So looking at the homecoming board as a whole, we have PR and marketing team, events team, visual arts, court, finance, we have the execs. For the homecoming board, what do you think the board could have improved upon?
I feel like our board did a really great job, and we only improved as our tenure went on. It was super great to see our growth and to see how far we'd come since we'd all gotten together December of 2021 for the very first time. The biggest thing probably is just communication. It was really hard to communicate across channels sometimes. Like I said, that improved towards the end, but in the beginning, that was a little bit of a struggle for us and for everyone involved. I think everyone else on board would probably agree. But working together, we kind of fixed the problems and we just trended more and more upward. And by the time homecoming week came, we were absolutely great. But in the beginning, I know being a first-year student, I was a little nervous to kind of reach out to the likes of Sahil, our senior finance director. Since I was super young, I'd never done this. I didn't want to sound, unintelligent or dumb. I was really worried about being judged for asking the questions that I needed to ask. But as it went on, it was just more comfortable, and it was great to see how much we developed there.
So in a leadership role, I think a big thing is self-reflection. So with that, essence of self-reflection, what could you have done to improve either your team or the work that you produced?
I just wish that I would have been able to command the room sooner. I pride myself on being a leader. I've held various leadership positions. I still hold numerous ones now. But coming in, I was so nervous, and I don't really get nervous in these kind of circumstances, but it was something about the magnitude of homecoming and what we represent to the student body and to Virginia Tech that really just kind of had me standing there quaking at some times when I was standing up in front of our 15 court candidates and trying to present something to them and they were on their phones or not paying attention to me. I didn't really know how to handle that kind of situation, but as it went on, I got more and more comfortable. I really just wish that I would have been able to come in with fire ablazing and been able to command it from the start. But it was all about a learning experience, and I'm proud to say I did, and I'm still very happy with how things turned out.
Yeah. So I guess my question for you, you had a great time with Homecoming 22. What was your thought process when you decided not to return for the Homecoming 2023 celebrations?
It was hard. It really was. Since I'm so invested in homecoming now, I even still am to this day. I'm texting back and forth with our incoming director of court for 2023, trying to see if she needs anything, seeing if I can be of assistance in any type of way. But all in all, I am a civil engineering major and my schooling has really ramped up. And that's ultimately what the decision came to. I just didn't have enough time to be able to dedicate what I would have needed to return again as the director of homecoming court. I even noticed it fall of 2022 already, how anxious I was, how stressed I was with my classes. And I wanted to pursue harder classes, 3,000, 4,000 level. And I just wanted to make sure I'm doing my best in all areas. And I really just didn't want to spread myself too thin. And although I would have loved it, I didn't think it would have been fair to the current board, the outgoing board, and to the legacy that I want to try to leave behind. I just don't think it would have been a smart decision. And although it hurt me not to come back, I really think it is best for where I am with my schooling and my academics. And I'm trying to graduate a semester early, and I knew I couldn't do that if I was involved in homecoming court because the classes, like I said, only get harder. But it's a great experience. I didn't leave for any bad reasons. I had so much fun. I wanted to do it again. I really did. And I'm so sad that I didn't. We have a great new incoming 2023 board, but based on where I am in life, it wasn't feasible.
Yeah, that's a big thing. That's really mature because I think some people take on a lot too soon, and even if they have the thought in their head like, oh, I can't do it, they still do it. So I'm really proud that you have that mindset and you're aware of what you can handle and what your priorities are now. So I'm very happy for you on that. And you kind of touched on your legacy of you really want the continual push of diversity with homecoming. And what other, insights do you have for your legacy?
The Homecoming 2022 was the first big celebration since the COVID pandemic. And I really feel like overall our team did a really fantastic job. We had great things like our Homecoming Court 72 Questions production, and we had a great showcase performance with the court being involved in that. My whole thing with the legacy on court, as we mentioned, I really want court to become more diverse and become more accessible to everybody. And I know we're even still working on that to this day. But overall, I just really want court to be able to reach out into the community. Court runs on something called a platform, and it's a cause that they care about. And I just really want those to connect and resonate with our students, rather than just seeing court candidates as, oh, they're doing this for popularity, oh, they're doing this because their organization told them to. I really want them to connect with the student body. And while we've made strides in that this past year, I still want to see that continue. And I hope that throughout the next couple teams' tenures that they continue to strive for that by having those community outreach, by having those conversations and making sure we're getting court into the community and trying to get them to interact with all these people that they're basically running on their platform to help support.
Looking at all the people you met and all the people you influenced for Homecoming 2022, you shouted out your boyfriend who was a big support. You shouted out Molly. Is there anyone else you would like to shout out or praise for all their work?
Honestly, the entire homecoming board of 2022, like I mentioned, I couldn't have done it without absolutely anybody. Ryan, you were absolutely amazing, supporting me, helping make sure court and the events programming was, all meshed together. Sahil, our amazing director of finance at the time, who's actually our 2023 homecoming board president, fantastic job. Thank you for bearing with me throughout all my questions regarding the budget and money and everything I didn't know, and for just being a great support resource overall. Molly, obviously, I talked about her a bunch. We know how amazing she is and how near and dear she is to me. And lastly, but not least, our amazing advisor, Katie. Katie knows I love her so, so much. During the week of, Katie and I would cry together when things weren't going as planned, and then we'd celebrate when things finally did get to go as planned. And she is literally the best advisor I could have ever asked for. Katie jumped into our role when our graduate advisor left Virginia Tech, since she graduated, and went down to another school to get a job. So Katie stepped in kind of just in the fall. She did homecoming, had friends on homecoming when she was in school at Virginia Tech, but had never advised anything before. So she just came in just ready to help. And I really appreciated that. I utilized her as a resource as much as I could. Molly and I loved working with her. We were super nervous when we had to get coffee with her the first time, but after that, Katie and I still talk to this day, even though I'm not really involved in homecoming anymore. And because of the great time she had in the fall, Katie actually stayed on as a homecoming advisor for the 2023 cycle as well, with our other amazing advisor, Trisha. But I've never had an advisor as great as Katie. I just can't fathom what I would be like if I didn't have her support and her next to me throughout this entire process.
That's really big. I think I want to shout you out, Ashlyn, because Lord knows to handle what you handled, the all 15 of them, and also for everyone listening, it's not just 15 people you're managing, but it's also their organizations and that communication. It's the platform that they have, plus all the stuff you have to do as director. So you did such an amazing job, because not everyone could do that. I know I wouldn't be able to handle that because I handled teams, but not as big as yours. And Ashlyn, you did that, and I'm so proud of you. I think seeing you on the field was so incredible, because obviously you can't see yourself, but when I saw you on the field, you just looked so proud of everyone there. When the royalty was announced, Nicole, Reed, and Mason, you just looked so proud, and I was just so happy to see that, because I know how hard you, Molly, and everyone else worked. But I'm so proud of you, and I'm honored to have been able to work with you for Homecoming 22.
Oh, thank you. Like I mentioned, the time on the field was just so special. And while I loved all of the court candidates and all of our royalty, I really had a special bond with Nicole. So seeing her win was just so, so amazing, because I know she really cares about her platform, and I know the whole backstory behind why she chose what she did and why she supports that platform. So I'm super excited about her event to come in the spring, and getting to see everyone there, it was magical. It really was.
Well, thank you so much, Ashlyn, for sitting down with us, and have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you.